Essipong was one of the facilities that Ghana built as we were planning to host the AFCON in 2008.
Sporty FM.
So that facility was commissioned somewhere in 2007. And we spent close to $45 million then to construct that edifice. Since then, the facility has not seen any major facelift, any remarkable rehabilitation work to maintain the standard of the facility that was built for the AFCON in 2007. Ladies and gentlemen, somewhere in 2020, when Honorable Isiama was sports minister, he organized the NSA, organized journalists, they embarked on a tour of the facility. It was then that a promise was made that the facility would see a facelift. Contract was awarded to a certain company, Sisden, at the time, to fully rehabilitate that facility. The sports minister then, Honorable Isiama, said the project was going to be in two phases. The first phase was going to deal with the roof, which was completely ripped off. In fact, that roof was nothing to talk about. It was completely gone. Minister said the first phase, which was about $3 million was going to be spent on the entire project, was going to take care of the 40 roofing sheets, and they were going to apply a heavy duty coating system, among others. Phase 2 was going to take care of the spectator seats, the electrical installation, completion of hostel facilities around the stadium.
Sporty.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 2020, some minimal work was done on the facility. Somewhere in 2021, when the Minister of Finance read the budget, in November 2021, that was 17 November 2021, the Minister said that the Essipong facility was 90% complete. Renovation or rehabilitation of the Essipong facility was 90% complete. Our checks later revealed that that facility was nowhere close to 90% complete. Nowhere close to 90% complete. And so once again, we were hoodwinked into believing that that facility was being worked on and was going to become a state-of-the-art facility. That never happened. It even the MP of at the time, MP for Esikado Ketan, Honorable Jogati, even wrote a letter to the sports ministry asking them to provide information on how 90% work was done on that facility. Ladies and gentlemen, as we speak today, payments have been made to contractors, but Essipong remains a death trap. We cannot continue spending money on renovation of sports facilities in this country and see zero results. And if you remember, money was spent on Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Money was spent on Accra Sports Stadium. All of these facilities received huge chunks of money for renovation. But we never saw any proper renovation. Even when they got to Ghana playing World Cup qualifiers, we had to go and beg CAF
Sporty FM
to allow us to temporarily play our matches at these match venues. I think that we've reached a point where we must begin to get value for money for every infrastructure project we decide to invest in. We were sitting here when lots of sums of money, huge sums of money, was spent on the Legon Stadium as we speak. Let's go to Legon today and ask if indeed the amount of money spent on that project gave us the real value as we expected. All of these things have happened. Some $22.4 million was Ghana cedis was allocated for the Accra Sports Stadium renovation. Baba Yara has also had its fair share. But we cannot speak of a state-of-the-art facility today.
Sporty FM.
This morning, my message to the sports minister is simple. We appreciate his desire, his energy, his commitment to making sure our facilities are fixed. We are happy that he himself has been to Essipong to assess the work that has to be done. He has seen it all. He has seen the figures that were allocated. He has seen the figures that have been spent. And he has seen the state of the facility. It is not as if anybody has come to report it. He has seen it himself. Honorable Sports Minister, you have told the whole nation that that facility must be brought back to life. And please, we want you to bring the facility back to life. The people of Western Region want to see that facility back to life. Whichever way possible, whichever means possible, Honorable Sports Minister, please bring Essipong back to life. We are happy that you have gone to see it for yourself. And some of us believe strongly that unlike other sports ministers who went to look at the facility and the facility never saw any remarkable change, you will cause a change as far as that facility is concerned. You will get Ghanaians to get proper value for money when it comes to renovation or rehabilitation of such facilities. So the sports minister, after seeing the facility, said Essipong is not just a Western Region issue. This is a national infrastructure that must be brought back to life. Honorable, we want to see Essipong come back to life, in your own words. The minister went on to say, we are committed to accelerating works here to ensure the stadium once again serves the people of Ghana, not only for sports, but for a wider commercial and community use. The ongoing rehabilitation under phase 1 and 2 covers roofing, anti-rust materials, replacing of spectator seats, refurbishment of sanitary facilities, lighting, upgrades, and all of that, and a new scoreboard. The plan also includes improved ventilation systems and a new fitting for the sunglasses and corporate spaces. Ladies and gentlemen, so the phase 1 and phase 2 that should have started long ago, today we are going to start it all over again to fix the roof and make sure that that match venue is fit for purpose. Honorable Sports Minister, we are trusting that this time round we'll see the tangibles. This time round, we are confident that in your leadership, not just Essipong, but all our match venues will see a proper facelift. The story of Essipong is a very heartbreaking one. And if you look at the pictures of Essipong on the screens, you'll be appalled and you'll be shocked that contracts have been awarded, some monies have been paid, but the stadium is looking the way it is looking. And that is why I'm saying that, look, we cannot continue paying lip service to the problems. We cannot continue embarking on media tours, and then after all those tours, nothing will be done. And that is why I'm saying that this will be the last time, and we are believing that this will be the last time we'll go and visit Essipong and come back to complain about the state of Essipong not being good for football. Never again should we report about Essipong or report on Essipong in a deplorable state. And I'm believing and I'm trusting that the sports minister would back his words with action. I'm believing that the sports minister, by the time he's done, a lot of match venues in this country would see significant changes, will become fit for purpose, and will become comfortable for every spectator who decides to go watch matches here in Ghana. So, Honorable Sports Minister, this morning, we are happy that you have taken the initiative to fix Essipong. That is a charge you must keep. That is a responsibility you have assumed. And we are hoping that you deliver for us.
Sporty FM.
We are hoping that you deliver for the good people of Western Region. And we are hoping that you deliver for the football people. And you deliver for anybody who wants to use any match venue for any commercial activity whatsoever. The state of Essipong is nothing to write home about. And in the words of the minister, it must be brought back to life. Essipong must be brought back to life. I'm done.
So anytime we the coach, no say we be solution. One man, one car, scheme of them will get the pen. So anytime we the on, no say we be the problem.
And this is Sporty Breakfast live on Sporty 106.1 FM in Accra, 102.5 in Takrady, and 91.3 in Kumasi.
I won't go problem solve, same time we be solution. Dorman, there.
But let's get talking. I'll pick a few phone calls before 8. Let's talk about the Ghana Premier League. Let's talk about English Premier League as well. Let's talk about Liverpool. What's happening to Liverpool at the moment? Crisis or minor hiccups, you'd call it. Let's talk about Chelsea. Chelsea find themselves second on the league log. And the Gunners are in a commanding lead. Arsenal have opened a 6-point lead at the summit of the English Premier League table. And it's just 13 matches into the season. Well, we've played 12 matches. We are heading into match day 13. And we'll see where Arsenal finish at the end of the season. Manchester City were beaten over the weekend. And they couldn't keep the pressure on Arsenal. And let's talk about Hearts of Folk. Hearts of Folk clearly cannot score goals at the moment. Kumasi Asante Kotoko remain unbeaten. And Real Madrid fans, are you excited? Are you excited about what's happening at your club at the moment? Real Madrid is struggling to beat Elche. Barcelona is doing the business against Athletic Bilbao. 13 matches into the La Liga season. There's just 1 point between Real Madrid and FC Barcelona. And there was Derby della Madonnina action in Italy. And give us a call 0542571061 0542571061. Let's talk about everything that happened over the weekend in the world of sport. Share your thoughts with us. 0542571061. I have a caller on the line. Good morning to your name and where you're calling us from. Otunfo. Right, Otunfo. Your movement plenty. Let's hear you.
I swear down. Really, I don't make us now cool down. And you think we did them back now. I just letting behind them and then we'll show them something small at the end of the tunnel. Then we see some blue light to be there. You understand?
Yeah, I get you.
This about beating on beating around here. Shall it be needless? Shall it? The win we did the talk saying shall it on beating. We need this. We need less. And you know what happened yesterday?
No, tell me.
Dreams and All Black machine. Every other operations they do, and then they do what make the report like that. So they far. I don't know. Now VAR is gonna be going down.
Oh, VAR no day.
We done played 90+9 to 7 minutes.
Oh, maybe there was a lot of.
Nothing happened.
There was a lot of stoppage in the game.
I thought nothing no more. But once again, we had to tell us now, make them cool down. Just to show them something small,
Right.
We know how to do it. Then they look the character to do it or step up.
Okay.
They can just continue. Then the longer, you understand? So let them keep up on the land. We will come do the project later.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Otunfo, for joining us on the show.
Okay.
Have a good day. Well, keep your calls coming 0542 571061 0542571061. Let's talk about everything that happened over the weekend. Ghana Premier League action, English football, English Premier League action. There was Spanish La Liga as well. There was Italian Serie A. You can also talk about the French League as well. 0542571061. Let's get talking. You can also send us a WhatsApp message on 0542571061. Tell us how your sporting weekend went. Were you following Formula 1? It's Max Verstappen versus Lando Norris. 2 races to the end of the season. Liverpool were beaten over the weekend and Liverpool's struggles continue. Just 1 win in 7, 6 defeats. Certainly not what the defending champions wish for the season. Let me get onto the phone lines. Good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling us from. Okay. I think I lost the caller there. Liverpool beaten 3-0 by Nottingham Forest. Let me get back onto the phone lines. Good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling us from. Sir?
By the true. The true. That's another Dawson.
Yeah.
You're talking bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
Talking here too much. You know, the way to start the talk. I have say this one sport. Do the work. The Chumano. Nasty Johnson, you're fine. So say you all go benefit.
Yeah.
You know, now about 2 weeks ago, we were about who's NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You see the money we can get for that.
Yeah.
So if you do, Mama, you know the football pay, you go to organize plenty shows for that. That's another Dawson. That's another Dawson. So if I am the other, my hair, but that's so big, you see another thing.
Oh, omutie pa. Ombe.
Yeah. But then McLaren from I don't know, sir. One guy got no way. What's the best at the room? He's the best at the time.
Oh, yeah.
He left 2 races, they will see something. Final showdown. Final showdown. The form con keke. The Germany go a fatan and more yalo. Rest at the room, better. It's not good for no reason. On better league nana.
Oh, it is possible.
It's never possible. You see Barcelona, you see right now our squad come. Perfect. Perfect. It will be like last season, you know, you allow them to make them pick the league. You get players plenty. We score 2-1 in the young. Right now, the best keeper in the world come inside. One Garcia. We get Rafinha, we get Pedri. The players are picking 4. You see, Bilbao, it took them 4. So they should all watch out, you are coming.
Right.
That's it. Be a bear friend. But still now, it's just not so cool. Come on, fire, man. Why? Fire,
Yo.
So when the time will come?
The time will be back soon. Ojina ni kakra. Ojina home kakra.
Hey. No, come by. You know, you come back you.
Oh, baba. Kumo. Thank you very much for your time on the show this morning. Right. So keep the calls coming, 0542571061. I have another caller on the line. Good morning to you. Your name and where are you calling us from?
Good morning.
Morning.
Oh, I'm here.
Nyamiadum, we are good.
I'm glad I said I'm cool. You know, but I think we ask now to lose it. That Liverpool lose to Manchester United ask now to lose it. That now come the man now to you now. About 30. So 30 probably come in second or
yeah, Chelsea currently second on the league table.
Currently.
Yes.
Okay. Currently, Chelsea are second.
Yes, Chelsea almost second.
So 135 can we? It is that way. It's the top 8 about Arsenal. Hey, Arsenal, make me. I know the Arsenal fan, but Why we talk of we recent from the thing?
No, he said Arsenal are land guards, so they'll take over soon.
That was then. Arsenal were land guards. We are the United fans. United, we know what carry this leg. See, so Arsenal carry some skip. Where you are Chelsea, then they can't line out the TikTok. So if I get Arsenal, make Arsenal carry the leg. But I tell you, I swear, Chelsea top 5, they play top 5, I swear. I will come on my picking for 2. I will make my picking go crazy. I don't go lie. Why you can't because somebody is Langard? When you can't wait, you Langard before. Chelsea, you can't make Langard before. You come you don't know how you for talk. Arsenal tire me. I the two Arsenal. I know the Arsenal, but they two for them because I need to tire. After they perform, but I do I feel on 1 or 2 things. If you get a United win, we be in back. They will press arm.
Right.
United will play Champions League.
Right. United play later today. They play against Everton later tonight.
What be the time?
I think that game should be at 8 p.m. Let me just confirm that. Yes, so that game will be at 8 p.m. at Old Trafford.
8 p.m. There are good days. I know if you get on. They watch online too. Like if you get time active like they watch out for DSP.
Yeah, that's right.
The duration, they can't do it maybe ahead like 1 minute ahead.
Yeah, that's.
So they only like to watch online football.
Right.
So they will score goals.
Thank you for joining us on the show this morning. Right. Let me get into a few of your messages. This one is coming from Commando in McCarthy Hills. He says, okay, let me pick this call and then I get back to Commando's message. Good morning to you. Your name and where are you calling us from?
Yeah, this is Youngster calling from Assignment.
Right, let's hear you.
First of all, I want to start with the F1 issue. Like, I got really, really disappointed because me, I'm a McLaren fan. But I still think Lando is going to win the Champions League. The championship anyway. Yeah.
I mean, he's 24 points ahead. So
yeah, and honestly, I don't know. People don't like to give him his flowers. I don't know why, but I think he's the most fastest driver on the grid, on the left speed, on the road game. Because he's always getting the push and all that. He's really good. It's just that yesterday the McLaren team, they did a big mistake. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, some of these ones are beyond the drivers. They are technical issues. Yeah.
Always, sometimes I feel like the FIA sometimes they are too rigid. You see, like maybe a driver will be in a poor position of winning the race, and maybe another driver will come and hit him, and he will be off. Then it's still the DNF, right?
Yeah. If you
and
go,
but what is not his fault or something? You get me?
Oh yeah. I mean, normally when you are knocked out like that, it depends on the team. If they look at the car and the car can still perform, why not? But normally when there are crashes like that, the cars are not able to continue the race. It just happens that something gets broken. In Formula One, there are very, very, very fine margins. You see, this issue of the race kids not meeting the 9mm requirements, measurements, it's a very fine detail that can help you win a race. It's a very fine detail that can help you get advantage or gain advantage over your opponent. So, and that's why they are very particular about some of these measurements, because they invested a lot of money to even get that, that instrument to actually get those measurements right. So, I mean, all of these things, the teams would have to pay attention. That's all.
Yeah, sure. And I want to ask, like the watch party, the F1 watch party.
Yeah.
It still goes on, right?
Yeah, it still goes on.
It's been a while since the last time I've been to one was at the pit stop bar.
Yes.
That was
So I think last weekend it was a 4 a.m. race and it was a star bite. So just keep listening to us. We'll give you updates on where the next one will be. Okay. Right.
And I know, like today, F1 show will be around.
Yes, at 11:30. At 11:30. Yeah, today's Monday. Yes, 11:30.
Okay. And let me come to the issue here. Charlie, they are the ones talking right now. Honestly, they are the ones talking right now, and we have a match on Sunday. So if you are claiming that this you can't take over, you are going to fame or are they lie?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, so let them stop talking. When they meet us on the field, then they show us what they can do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Thank you.
Thanks for that.
Right. Thank you very much for your time on the show. Great. So let me get into the message. And Commando says, please tell Kelvin Owusu that as Arteta is a top coach, put him on the market now and you see the number of clubs chasing him. It's never too late to concede that you were wrong about him. Okay, he says, Arteta at Bayern would have won the Champions League by now. Don't compare Bundesliga to the Premier League. So that's a message from Commando there. And this message, I don't know, okay, it's coming from a Spurs fan on the NLD. Okay, he says, yesterday's North London derby was a real kick in the teeth, wasn't it? I mean, it was not like I'm surprised we lost, but the way we played was just, wow, terrible. It felt like the coach was stuck in Brentford mode. Thomas Frank still carries the mid-table club mentality, just like Nuno Espirito Santo did when he came to N17. Like, what's the plan, guys? Well, he wants to know. Arsenal Spurs fans are disappointed. They are not excited about the performance of their coach, Thomas Frank. Arsenal fans don't care. They picked their 3 points. They are up and running. It's 6 points between Chelsea and Arsenal. Between Chelsea and Arsenal. Arsenal are first, Chelsea are second. Let me get back onto the phone lines. Good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling us from. Okay. My caller is dealing with other matters. Well, let me get back onto the lines. Good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling us from.
Yo, Mr. Ray.
Yes, sir.
Everything cool?
Yeah, everything fine.
Yeah, Kumu on the line. Jana saw. The way every morning you do fire, no, Charlie. If I go bring fire service, come put your place. Well, one time, no, Charlie, you go hit, then pump the fire. Fire service for standby.
That's
I will tell Gary, make you order fire service.
let's hear your thoughts this morning.
Oh, Charlie, this weekend was very stressful. For the investors, Charlie, you know you. You want me
I'm sure Liverpool taught you a lesson.
Hey, the Madrid comes for everything. Hey, what are they work?
Yeah, what are they?
Hey, Madrid, look at his face.
Oh, here Nana Kwame, they are still discussing the slips.
Hey, Charlie, and you, Jumano, and yeah. Hey, Charlie, you go lose this is a good one, and someone to go do. Actually, you know, today United, you are playing today. Charlie, I hope you today.
Right.
I know they hit on anybody. For Arsenal, if they don't win the league, so bring Arteta, come Ghana, come lash out. Because this is if Arsenal don't win the league, then sorry to say, but they will not win the league again. I don't know. It's that guy, you know. Is it fitness or what? Tell it. Now the guy, you know, be Saku. We be Sakaba. Go niggas to go back here. You let the sack. Go take the Sakaba. The guy can even play a single shot too. Liverpool at home. This short guy, Charlie, I don't think I have Liverpool. The guy, I don't see, because it's the Saturday match. If you see the changes he was making, and you see the guy on the touch line, the guy was confused. Like he didn't know what he was doing.
But wait, wasn't not the same coach who won the league last season?
Oh, Anna Slot, la. See, last season it was based on the work of this thing. How they call it, judging club. But look at when he started to buy his players. Now you see the result. You see, last season the players were playing. He didn't change anything about the club, like the way a club plays. And let me tell you something. Arnold moving on was one of the biggest Liverpool problem. They say I'm like bad. If you see how the bubble play, Arnold is very, very instrumental. Arnold Musala. You see how Musala is struggling.
Yeah.
Because when Arnold just take a ball, just one pass, Musala is away. But now in this Liverpool team, can you tell me who can give that Musala that kind of pass? There's nobody. So they are missing how they call it, Trent. And after that Konate guy, Charlie, he has no deal Liverpool again.
Yeah.
See, look at the defending. Like, you don't understand who. And the Saturday match, his changes was very poor. Like, there's no balance in the team. Some time of the game, Gomora, Isaac, everything, Ekekiki, Musala, Gapo. No balance. Look at just individual players. You're like, oh, let me see what you can do. Let me see what you can do on the field.
Well, we'll see how he turns things around for.
The guy no good. The guy no good.
Yeah, still lots of games to go. So maybe he would figure it out and turn things around.
By watching him on the touchline, like he doesn't know what he's doing again.
Thank you very much. All right, have a good morning. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. I'll pick my final call, and then we zoom straight into action. We're talking Ghana Premier League action. And Coach Sefa is here with me. Good morning to your name and where you are calling us from.
Good morning, Uncle.
Yes, sir.
This is husband.
Let's hear you, bro.
Uncle Ray, I want to touch a bit on your problem you brought this morning. I was thinking the sports thing that will go with Honorable Esiama to go and see the 90% work done. Uncle Ray, on my way, so the second for you kill me near Rome, near public.
Oh, that means say we are not ready.
Oh no, great. Let's ask ourselves if Honorable Esiama, this was his personal project. And go back to where you way. Say, oh no, this is and all your realization. And go back to where you about the country and say, oh my 90%. Look at the amount of money they've spent. And look at the amount of money they are going to spend again. It is such a calculate to be made before. Why are we killing ourselves? And go corona coordinating it. Who your house? Honorable 90% now here in the human need. It's so pathetic. Sometimes we say we're not born in Ghana. You go sit in parliament, you are being paid, and you go and do this short job. Go forward, we just leave them to God. My Chelsea at least gave me hope. At least we are second. If not for Maresca's 1 or 2 days, we would have been first by now. But I know.
First.
First. Because we shouldn't have lost to Sunderland. We shouldn't have lost to Brighton.
But Sunderland are playing well. Brighton are playing well.
I get it, but Uncle Ray, if you want to win the league, you make your home a fortress. Look at what Arsenal did to Tottenham. Statement of intent. We are ready. And I like what Ateta did with the signings this window. Places he needed to adapt, he did. So Odegaard is not around. Eze is playing. So if Odegaard is fit, he has options. he can rest players and then rotate. That is how you win the league. Because from January, then that is the peak period. Champions League is at its peak. You are playing league, you are playing FA Cup, you are playing Capital One Cup, all this. So at least you rotate and then rest your key players for the big matches. But I know by the end of the season, if we don't finish first, we'll finish second. I'll be happy if Arsenal win. I'll be happy. I'm a Chelsea fan, but I'll be happy if Arsenal win just for Arteta.
Right.
He's been lambasted for all these years. At least we should do Arsenal this favor and win them the league.
Great.
Have a good morning.
Have a good morning too, and thank you very much for joining us on the show. Well, so this is where I draw the curtain down on my calls. Maybe later on in the show we'll open the phone lines again. But I have great news for you. Have you guys heard of the latest from MTN? If not, then listen. For those of you who love MTN Free After One, prepare for the upgraded experience that is MTN Free After One Extra. Now, let me tell you what Extra is all about. With MTN Free After One Extra, you can talk for 1 whole hour uninterrupted while paying for only the first minute of every 10 minutes you talk. For every 10 minutes you talk within an hour, you only pay for the first minute and you get to talk for 60 minutes straight with no interruptions. You like what you hear? As if that is not enough, you also get 100 megabytes of data free after your first call on Saturdays. So now is the time to keep talking to your friends and keep talking to your loved ones. To subscribe to MTN Free After One Extra today, dial star 550 hash, dial star 550 hash, and follow the prompts. And this message is coming to you from MTN everywhere you go. And this December, there's AFCON 2025. And yes, Ghana may not be playing at the AFCON 2025, but the tournament is being hosted in the beautiful Kingdom of Morocco, and it coincides with the end of year celebrations. This December, Dunia Safari and Sporty FM are bringing you closer to the games. Why don't you try something different from the usual dirty December routine? Go on, dare to be different. Travel with your squad or family and watch the AFCON games live and explore Morocco like never before. Dunia Safari has an exclusive group travel package that would help you see the two finalists of the 2024 edition, the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Elephants of La Côte d'Ivoire. Use Sporty FM promo code SPORTYFAN25 when booking to unlock a special 20% discount for a minimum of 3 people booking. Don't just hear it on Sporty FM, see the games live in Morocco. Limited spots are available, so visit duniasafari.com or call 053-808-7709. duniasafari.com or give them a call 053-808-7709. You can also send them an email, travelduniasafari@gmail.com, travelduniasafari@gmail.com. And you can also follow them on Instagram, on Facebook, and TikTok at Travel Dunia Safari. Don't forget to book using Sporty FM promo code SPORTYFAN25. And this is still the Sporty Breakfast live on Sporty 106.1 in Accra, 102.5 in Takoradi, and 91.3 in Kumasi. And this is Ghana's #1 sports morning show. It's a little matter of the Ghana Premier League to sort out. And it was match day 11 of the Ghana Premier League 2025-2026 season.
He's back again. I say this is our own. Let's cherish our own. Division 1 league. He's back again. This is our own. Let's cherish our own. Ghana Premier
Kumasi Asante Kotoko remain unbeaten. Heart of Oak are winless in their last 3. Adriana Stars FC top of the table. Pando Heart of Lions labored to a 2-2 draw against Vision FC. And it's a good time to get into the discussion around the Ghana Premier League. I'm joined in studio by the one and only Coach Ebenezer Sifa. Coach, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good to have you here.
Same here, bro.
And joining us via Zoom, joining us from Kumasi 91.3 Sporty FM, is the one and only Michael Asaribuedu, whose team lost last night in the Derby de la Madonina. Michael, good morning to you. Welcome to Sporty Breakfast.
Well, good morning, Raymond, and it's great to be back on the show.
Last night, your team lost.
Is that?
You didn't hear that.
I didn't really catch it, but
no, I'm like, your team lost last night.
Oh, Charlie, you've been Christian Kibo, Adani Kibo Gary.
Well, let me run listeners by the scoreline from match day 11 of the Ghana Premier League. Dreams FC were beaten at home by Suedo All Blacks. That game ended 3-2. Samatex hosted Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Samra Boy. The game ended 0-0. Hohoe United welcomed 11 Wonders to Hohoe, and that game ended 1-1. Nations FC from Pomanso dealt with his former employers. They beat Bibiani Gold Stars by 2-0. And then Vision FC drew 2-2 with Heart of Lions in Tema. Young Apostles welcomed Accra Heart of Oak. That game ended 0-0. Adriana Stars FC, they defeated Brekum Chelsea in the Bono Derby by 3-1. And then Midiama SC, also playing at home, drew 0-0 with Bichem United. And then Karela United defeated Basake Holy Stars by 3-2. So you can count as many as about 5 draws over the weekend. There are a lot of games that ended in a draw. And we'll get into the analysis of all of those games on the show this morning.
Say Premier League, Division 1 League, Division 1 League.
Well, Coach, before we start the conversation, a few things happened before the game itself. I think on Friday there was communication that 11 Wonders had parted ways with Coach Sapon. I think the communication was that Coach Sapon had resigned. That was the communication. Again, there were reports about a bit of uncertainty as to whether the players were going to play or they were not going to play. There were reports that players had decided to boycott the game because of unpaid salaries. You know, there are a lot of issues before that Lions game. But what do you make of Coach Sapon's resignation?
Well, personally, I wasn't surprised. I mean, he's your man. And we have been talking about, yes, he's aging. And I believe that if he had taken the role as a technical director, that would have helped. I mean, for him to do training sessions each day, twice or once a day, for me, it's going to be tedious for him. And for me, I watched him on the bench in the game against Mediema, and he was very angry, very, very angry with his players. And I asked myself, what is really happening to Coach Sapon? Yes, Shapiro that we know when he was a bit younger could be very angry, furious and all that. But at this age, 78, and so I knew something was going to happen. I think I told you, remember, something was going to happen. Yeah. But for me, it's good for him. It's good he has resigned. He went in just for 3 games. Odatilante went for 7 games. So I think it's good for him that he has resigned. And management have also accepted his letter of resignation, and so for me, it's good he has resigned. And whatever it is that they are not paying the players, it's among most of the Ghanaian clubs. They don't pay their players 2-3 months, and for me, factors that affect performance is one of them. I mean, the salary is not enough, and players don't get it. Some of them complain. You'll be getting calls from players asking for food to buy, money to buy food here and there, and ask yourself, playing the Ghana Premier League.
Yeah.
So for me, for 11 Wonders, I wasn't surprised with Sapon has resigned, and because I knew definitely it's going to happen.
Going to get there.
But it was too early for me to see.
Well, Michael, I know you've been following Coach Sapon and his exploits at 11 Wonders. Well, is it sheer coincidence, or the players just found a way to play, to deliver in their game against Oho United? Interestingly, after Coach Sapon's departure, the players found a way to pick a point.
They drew away against Ohoy, which was a very positive one. But you see, the 11 Wonders team looks like a poison chalice, and Coach Sapon should have advised himself against drinking from it, because definitely it was going to taint his record, and he needed to protect it. You don't walk into an arena where there is a lot of chaos, there is no orderliness, and then they are even struggling to get results. We all know what has actually bedeviled the 11 Wonders this season. The spiritual issues explained, the fallout between the club and then the people of Techiman, with some traditional leaders washing their hands off the team in terms of praying for them to record positive results because they thought they had been deceived. So a lot was wrong with 11 Wonders. And as experienced as J.E. Sapon is, he should have read the room very well before stepping inside. And the moment he entered, I think personally, he became more aware of how the situation was, how grave it was. And then maybe he decided to leave just to avoid encountering further taints to his image or his reputation. But the Atlantic studied the situation and he felt he could not continue because, in his own opinion, he had done a lot to improve things, but there was little improvement in the side, judging by their performances and then their results. And I think Coach Sapon should have maybe consulted deeper before making that step to join. But my biggest concern regarding 11 Wonders and their struggles this season, Coach mentioned it, they have not been paid their salaries for 3 months and counting. And I want to know, what kind of test do we put persons who show interest in buying Ghana Premier League clubs? What kind of test do we put them through to ascertain whether they are in a certain position to run the club as efficiently as expected? Do we have a director proficiency test that will measure, one, the financial power of the person interested in buying the club, two, the source of their income or the sources of their income, and then three, what kind of reputation do they have? Because I think the same person running 11 Wonders now was the same person running Legon Cities, and they had issues with unpaid salaries. It became a recurring theme for seasons before Legon Cities was eventually relegated. They were burdened with unpaid player salaries and bonuses, to an extent that allegations were wild that they were now betting on their games. So the players decided to throw games away and then they will make money out of it. These were wild allegations labeled against Legon Cities then. And then you allowed the same ownership move from Legon. I don't know if they've decided to discard Legon Cities or whatever, but you allowed them to own another Premier League club without taking them through the right test. Because when they were handling just a club in Legon Cities, they were struggling. Now, imagine that they are still running Legon Cities and they have to add 11 Wonders to it. How would the situation be? So I think this is a dent on how we go about in scrutinizing persons who are allowed to own football clubs in Ghana. And maybe the FA needs to, if there is no such regulations in existence, the FA needs to take a critical look at this and then start implementing regulations that will keep in check directors or owners of Ghana Premier League clubs, because it is not good for our league. And then in any other way, it also tempts players and then coaches to throw matches away. And it is not good for the image that we want to build regarding the Ghana Premier League. And it is very disturbing for me, honestly, Raymond.
Right. Michael, that's, a very, very interesting concern there. But I'm joined on the line. I'm joined on the line by Coach Sapon. Coach would be giving us a bit of insight into what possibly led to his decision to relinquish the title of head coach of 11 Wonders. So Coach J.E. Essipong is on the line. Let me quickly get onto the phone lines and speak to him. Coach Shapiro, good morning to you and welcome to Sporty Breakfast.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing very well, sir. Yourself? How are you doing?
I'm good.
Great. We were excited when we heard you had taken over the reins of 11 Wonders as head coach. But just on Friday, we were told that you have tendered in your resignation. What accounted for you deciding to leave the job this early?
Well, I first of all want to appeal to club management members or club owners that when you contract players to play for your team, their lives are in your hands. So you have to at least motivate them, give them the best that you can, so that when they fail, you can blame them. 11 Wonders is a good team. They have individual very good players, technically. And I took over the reins in 2 weeks. The first match they played against Adriana Stars, I was there to observe them because that was my first time. It was the 2 days the time. But the subsequent ones, the 2 matches that they played against Mediama, Vision and Mediama, I was on bench. And I realized that, no, with a little push, these guys can escape relegation. There's something basically wrong. And then I had to see that, no, these boys, I have to talk to them one-on-one to see their problems. But what struck me much was last week before we traveled to Hawaii. 3 days the boys didn't train. The report they came and gave me was that they are not eating for 3 days. And they don't have the energy to train, to travel. So I said, wow. If somebody tells that he's hungry and that will force him, no. So guys don't go to war with that, with an empty stomach. So I said, okay, so what do we do now? I arranged a friendly match and told them what they should do. We had a friendly match played. And I realized that even when they were coming, their 2 buses had broken down. When they were coming, they took a trotro bus.
Oh.
You know, whoever sponsored the trotro bus, I don't know, in and out. And it happened when we played Bediama. When our administrator told us that there's a problem on the bus, that they are short of oil, the diesel, that the bus couldn't take the players back to their camp. So they had to get some trotro one-on-one, and then they get to the camp. The bus slept there for 2 days or so before it was told to be repaired. So I saw from afar that, no, if these are problems initially, staring me in the face, having gone through this type of problem before, I have to quit. Because my little reputation that I have to guard against it, then I go to death with it. So on the day, that was Thursday or Friday, the boys came to train very late, and they decided that they were not going to play the whole match.
Okay.
So then I told them, look, if that's what we're going to behave, then I'm gone. Because I wouldn't follow you, go and disgrace myself. You have not trained for 3 days, and you are determining when to go and play. So I called the administrator. I said, look, administrator, the bus to Hawaii should be put in order. Because from here to Hawaii is far. I wouldn't want a way when we go, then the bus breaks down on the way, and then I don't have money to rent another bus. So make sure that we go to Hawaii and back, or hire a VIP bus. We go there and come back. Then as they look to repair this one. It fell on deaf ears. So I decided that no, enough is enough. I have to get away from there. That is what happened.
Right, Coach. What a lot of people were thinking that it was because of the results you recorded in your previous games. You were struggling to get wins, and it was possible that you were going to get a sack if you didn't win against Orhwe. So you decided to move away before disaster struck.
No.
Right.
Nobody needs this is my coaching career. If you hear that I've been sacked, it means I have left and then they turn out to have sacked me. You understand?
Yeah.
I am principled.
Okay.
If I say I'm going away, I go away.
But yeah.
And this is the first time for a team to see if your team is down there and then the coach is bold to tell them, look, okay, I'll come and take up the appointment and play them out. It means the coach knows what he's going to do with the team. You understand? And this is not the first time. One is not the first thing that I spoke when they got on there. Olympics in those days first round had 0 points. second round, we're up there. We're about 5th from the top. Olympics, I can't get to Olympics.
Yeah.
I've gone in out 6 times. I've bailed out Dwarfs. I've bailed out Kwara United from the same club. Even Hamaichi and Sante Kotoko. I bailed them out and won a league in Kotoko. You understand?
Yeah.
So I know the caliber of person I am, and then when I get materials who are good like this, it's very easy for me. Initially, it will be difficult.
No.
Me, I don't mind sacking. After sacking, I think if you don't know, I'm the most sacked coach in Ghana Premier League, and I'm the most reappointed in the Ghana Premier League. You understand? So it isn't about the results. Because when I went, they started scoring. They were not scoring for 8 matches, but this time they were scoring only that they will lose. Sometimes 84th minute, they lose the match.
Hello, Coach. I think I lost Coach there. I would quickly re-establish connection with Coach so we can finish the conversation. I have just 2 more questions for Coach Shapiro. So hopefully we'll get him back on the line and we'll finish the conversation. But Coach Ifa and Michael, if you are listening to Coach, Coach cited reasons, non-footballing reasons, but for reasons that would impact on the performance of the club. Michael, I think you had Coach speak there. He cited his reasons for resigning before that game against Hoho United. Okay, so Coach is back on the line. Let me speak to Coach. Coach, apologies for the break.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Coach, before taking over the job, what was the discussion about? What was the promise management gave you, and why were you motivated to take that challenge?
What did what? I can't hear you well.
Okay, Coach. I'm asking, before you took over the job, what was the discussion between you and management, and why did you decide to take the job, knowing possibly how difficult it was going to be?
No, the fact is that I was brought in by a friend of the father of the team.
Okay.
So I don't even know the father. I don't know him personally. Okay. I don't know him. I've not even spoken with him before. But through his friend, I took up. And then I was motivated for the fact that I understand he comes from Oti region.
Okay.
And I am also from Oti region.
Okay.
So I thought, we will work hand in hand to bring our name Oti region up. That there's somebody who is a member of state who has a team for Oti region, helped by a Oti region member, citizen.
Okay.
So I started coming here. That is why that motivated me. It's not about money. I am passionate. It's not about money. I've coached many teams without taking money. Most of the teams are even owing me. But it's a passion. It's a passion, and then to get somebody out, somebody who has made his way to be a player. That is his job. So if I do it and then the man comes, he says, okay, coach, you have done well, let me give you something fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. Because if you know Coach Sapon well, people who know my history will know that there are many teams I have coached in this country and played them from relegation, including Manchester Asante Kotoko. When I went there, I was there in Barcelona for the Olympic Games. I went there, they were struggling with Kumapim stars. I beat them. I lost only 1 match in Kumasi. I won the league for Asante Kotoko. We went to Africa. Olympics 6 times. 6 times I beat them. Dwarfs, one of them. Kwara United, mention them. So this was a small job for me to do. But what I'm saying is that if the materials who you are going to use are not motivated, there's nothing you can do.
Right.
You understand? Because in all these clubs that I went, the management was beside me. They were helping me. If I tell them something, they took my advice. So they were bailed out of the relegation. But here you don't have anybody to talk to. Because the chairman doesn't talk to you. He doesn't know you. Those who are around, you only see the team manager around, and then sometimes the players come. Charlie.
Now, Coach, are we going to see you take up another role in the Ghana Premier League? Anytime soon?
I'm a coach, and coaches don't retire. Coaches die. If a coach dies, he has retired. Only that the situation will define whether the coach should go back or not. But for me, I'm still on my feet. Although I'm advanced in age, I have so much experience, you see, to help a team. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We are in Ghana. We are building a team. I just left Kempong after going to Belgium and coming back. You know, so for me, I'm around. Anybody who comes to me, well, I am not after the money per se. Understand? We want to develop football. We want to develop people who have chosen the job to do. So if I have somebody like Asamajan, Prince Usu Ansa, Kwatipolo, Usibaye, mention them who came to Accra Academy, who made it to the West, then I want somebody also to follow. So that when I die, that person will stand and say that, look, it is because of this man that I'm here today. That's my passion.
Right. Coach, having been in the dugout for 11 Wonders, yesterday they managed to get a draw. They got a point on the road in Hohoe. What advice would you give management with regard to how they manage this club moving forward?
Well, there were preparations before that match, but they broke away about 2 days because of hunger.
Yeah.
So whatever has been taught them, they will carry it ahead. So without a coach, they won. They played 1-1, which means that if we had done everything right, the team would have escaped relegation very soon.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying that they have started scoring. It's not a bad team, but the motivation for management is not there. You understand? Because if you ask the player, they come and tell the coach, "You have not eaten for 3 days. Coach, you are hungry." Coach, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Mind-boggling because the coach also doesn't have money to give the players. So for respect for you, they will train, but they will not train the way you want them to train because the energy level is low. So I'm appealing to club management members, club owners, that the people who bring them money are the players. So please, you just give them what they want, motivate them, talk to them, take them as your children. That's the job they have accepted to play, to do. So that in the long run, you accrue your money that you have spent, and then you are free with that. But without this, how can you expect to get money? You have spent so much money to buy a team, and then the players are not playing well. Meanwhile, you recruited the players, and then they are playing well. They want to play for you. But whatever they want, you don't give them. So what do you want them to play, to do?
Coach, we wish you well, and we hope to see you back in the Ghana Premier League soon. Thank you very much for joining us on the Sporty Breakfast.
You're welcome.
Right. And that was Coach J.E. Sapon, former coach of 11 Wonders. He joined us to explain to us why he decided to resign from the club ahead of their game against Hohoe United. Coach, you heard from the horses so much, and let me revisit my tree proverb. Kakum. Thank you very much. Coach says a lot of things were not going right off the field. Players are hungry. Fly. Coach said the players are hungry. They can't play. They are hungry. They've not eaten. It's not good. You heard from the coach.
But players that are hungry, that they've not eaten for 3 days, can go to Hohoe with a man down and then pick a point.
Yeah, he said there was a plan in place. There was a plan. They had started preparation before the boys took a break because of hunger.
And then he left his own children.
Yeah, he left.
The way.
I mean, he said he's a principled man. You see, what coach said that you have to. He said it's a principle for him. If the principal actors are not going to be well taken care of, then I don't want to be part of this. You heard him say that the players came in trot-trot, you know. You heard coach.
It's just unfortunate, but I believe that clubs, administrators, and players should be one. I mean, these are, you know, I spoke about factors that affect performances, and these are one of them. If players go 3-4 months without pay, without salary, or probably maybe bonus if they win a match or something, it's very difficult, very, very, very difficult. And I think that what Coach Sapon said, if you had the management or official of Lagos, I learned in the city, I'm not talking, and for me, I think that they should have come out to also accept it or probably come to deny what Coach Sapon said.
Course,
I mean, because it is about the club, and if a coach that has been hired just to play 3 games and resign and then come out with these excuses or this alleged players being hungry, not being paid,
But this one is not an allegation again.
No, that's what I'm saying. That no, you see, this is a one-sided story. You understand?
But he's been with.
And
the
I'm
team.
saying that the management has to come out. They have to come because I'm sure they are listening. They are listening. They are listening. I've sent a message to one of them, and I'm sure he has gone through my message. I mean, they have to come out to let the people know that what Essipong is saying is true or not. And the reason why the players, if it is true, that are not being paid and they have not eaten for 3 days. If players have not been eating for 3 days, how do they go to Hawaii to go and play?
Energy levels low.
And I'm saying that players that have not eaten for 3 days, you sitting here, if you are not eating for 3 days, can you stand? If only you are not fasting. No, if only you are not fasting.
I'm fasting.
And if you're not eating for 3 days, can you stand? And then players that are going to run for 90 minutes plus. Football is a contact game and all that. So I believe management have to come out and then say something. Apart from that, I think that they need to sit up. I mean, if things are like that, they need to come up with a proper plan. Because look, for 11 Wonders to suffer and probably go to relegation, it will be very sad. It will be very sad because I believe that for them to even bring the team from Techiman, for me, was wrong. Because they just came from a Division 1. I felt that they could have stayed there for a season, try and then maintain their shape and then maybe stay in the league. And then going forward, second season or third season, the team can come to Accra or something. Then by then you have seen the kind of players you want to recruit, the kind of technical team. Because the moment Felix Abuaje resigned, I saw 11 Wonders against Accra Asufuk. That is their first game. And they play so well. They have individual players and they are playing so well. I mean, I believe Lomote, for instance, has played for Wafa. He has played for Mediama. He's gone to Algeria and he's back. He's played for Young Apostle. He's captained them. He's just an experienced player. And a couple of the guys there, when you watch them play, you love them. You remember the game against Asufuk at Accra Sports Stadium. The last 20 minutes, Asufuk suffered. Asufuk suffered in that game at Accra Sports Stadium. So sadly, if it comes out that players are not being fed and they are not being taken care of, they're going to play matches, players have to go with short throw and all that. I think it is very bad. It doesn't speak well of Lagos cities. Of the people that I know of Lagos cities.
11 Wonders.
11 Wonders, sorry. The people that I know of 11 Wonders, I expect them to come out to say something because it is unbelievable to hear this for Essipong. Seriously.
Right. Michael, any thoughts on what J.E. Essipong said? Clearly, things it was certainly not because of his performance or the performance of the players, but it was purely down to management issues.
You see, one crucial thing about coaching also has to do with application, because you are working with 11 different human beings and they need to be in sync with whatever you want them to do. So a coach can prepare, a coach can draw up a wonderful game plan, everything. But if the players, let's say, are less motivated, if the players are not really in the mood to do what they have to do because of other issues affecting their performances, then clearly he needs to complain about it. I am not saying I buy everything that Coach J. Essipong said, but there seems to be an iota of truth in here because the same ownership in a different club, there were similar issues. Players complaining over unpaid salaries, bonuses, players demotivated, not properly ready to deliver, players throwing matches away allegedly. All these were part of the story regarding Legon Cities for 3 seasons counting until they were finally relegated last season. It's the same ownership now. And clearly you can tell such issues are also happening in the camp of 11 Wonders. So yes, J. Essipong might have his own issues. Maybe coaching was not up to the level expected. But trust me, not every top coach would thrive in an environment like this. And that goes to portray the kind of magic Maswa Kunedi did with Legon Cities. Even he at a point in time had to leave because the situation had gotten out of hand. So clearly, the GFA should make sure that there are stricter regulations regarding how one can own a football club in Ghana and play in a competition organized by the FA. And all these feeds into the club licensing. We should subject ownership to a strict test that will judge their proficiency and then their capability or capacity to run football clubs efficiently. Let's say for a 5-year period, you don't buy a club and then all of a sudden things go bad. We should not be seeing these things happening in the top flight league, and everything has to do with the FA. In my opinion, they should be in a position to make sure that they keep football club owners in check. 1 million cedis was paid to Ghanaian clubs to play in the Ghana Premier League this season. What happened to the monies that 11 Wonders received? How is it that we've not even played the season beyond 5 months, and then they are struggling to pay players for 3 months? Come on. These things should not be happening at the top level. And if they are given a leeway to do what they do, it becomes a problem for us. Because it is the image, the brand Ghana football that will eventually be affected. Such clubs should not be condoned or entertained, and such ownership should not be allowed to continue football. When Liverpool were in disarray due to Tom Hicks and George Gillett, eventually they were struck with administration. Then the state took over the club. They decided to auction it. They decided to invite bids. And then eventually what happened was that a new ownership came. And we've seen how Liverpool has had their fortunes turn around. Why do we allow people who seem not to understand the football sector, who are not even ready to invest in the sector, why do we allow them to own one club? You see, the Legon City's bet was because it was needed. Then while All Stars were in disarray due to the issues that affected Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi. So people saw it as an avenue to rescue a dying club. Fine, it was good. The early days were so positive. I don't know whatever happened behind the scenes, but Legon Cities in their latter years in the Ghana Premier League were an eyesore, and they were a mockery of whatever project they preached. Now the same ownership is allowed to go and own another Premier League club. How come? What checks or what tests did we put them through? And that is something that the FA did not do right, in my opinion.
Right. Let's shift focus to the games. And we're on one game, Hoho United 11 Wonders. But let's continue with the other games, and we'll talk about that game between Dreams and Suedo All Blacks. And I want to start from there because post game, Winfred Drummond was livid. He was upset with the performance of his goalkeeper. Coach, you won that game. Walk us through that game.
Well, I think that All Blacks were the better side. They played a good game. They came with a 4-4-2 plan. And for me, I think that it really helped them because looking at Rudolph Mensah and of course the captain for the side, you talk of Aswanzi in Medford. I mean, they really made Dreams suffered. I mean, Dream came with a 3-5-2 system, which for me, I think that Dreams FC, the kind of game that they've been playing, you know, in their last 3 games before this game, Dreams have gone unbeaten. And All Blacks in their 4 games away, they've lost all the 4 games. You talk of the game that they play against Nations, they took the lead. Nations came back from behind 2-1, win by 2-1. Against Adriana, they took the lead. Adriana came back. They were beaten by Mediaman by a lone goal. They were beaten by Samates. And coming to play House of Folk, we saw or we heard what the fans were saying, especially the ladies in the team. And they were very furious that they want Coach Ahmed Fati to leave the club if he fails to beat House of Folk. But after watching that, they realized that it was Solomon Bashi, the goalkeeper for House of Folk, who stood between victory and, of course, to All Blacks, and then House of Folk losing that game. But in yesterday's game, I realized that the supporters were so supportive of the coach, and they came in their numbers to the Essipong Sports Stadium. And what I witnessed was that there was a teamwork. There was some kind of understanding between them and the manager. I'm talking about Ahmed Fati. So the players were confident on the field of play. They were calm on the ball. They were moving very well. They built up very good. And they were pushing for the Dreams FC back 4, especially the 2 centre backs, Yaro and Christian. And I think that Rudolph played one of his best games ever since joining the Premiership. Yeah. He scored 27 goals in the Division 1 league. As at yesterday, he has scored only 2 goals. So there was a lot of pressure on him to score. But you realize that he played a very good game. And for me, I think that it really paid off. I was not surprised he won the MVP yesterday. The Dreams goalkeeper, for me, should have been substituted earlier. I don't know whether he was panicking. Though, I would say about 80% of Dreams FC players couldn't play the kind of game Dreams FC play. But the goalkeeper, for you to be making such mistakes, yes, you give credit to the players that scored. That's Rudolph's first goal. And, of course, the second goal from this young chap, Abdul Aziz, from about 25 yards. And he made the goalkeeper aware that he's going to strike. And the ball went straight in there. And loss of concentration on the part of the two centre-backs of Dreams FC. Right from recess, Oblast got their third goal. And for me, the coach managed the situation very well until the last 20 minutes where Dormo made two quick changes up front, and then brought Boa also into midfield. That was where you could see Dreams FC trying to send the ball behind the back line of Sweden Oblast. But I think that they stood on their grounds. They were tactically disciplined, and I wasn't surprised they won the day. And the coach was very happy because the fans were not hooting at him. They were really, really supporting him. In as much that some of the decisions of the referee were not going well for both teams, I think that All Blacks were the better side yesterday against Dreams FC.
Right. Michael, quick thoughts on that game. Gideon Esiaku, clearly, he was not having it. It was one of those days for him in that game. But Dreams would go on to lose at home to Sweden All Blacks, who were in desperate need of points.
Yep, and it's unfortunate I did not watch that game because I was at Abrankese and also coordinating the game happening at Uwenchi between Younger Pulses and Accra Essipong. But I think it's a good result for Sweden All Blacks in the sense that it provides a moment of respite for their coach Ahmed Fati. Luckily for me, I have had to watch him from close in like 3 games they've played so far this season. One at Doma, one at Abrankese. And you look at him, you listen to his thoughts after matches, and you can clearly tell that he's a coach who knows what he's doing. I think most of the times you have to understand football fans. We can be a bit impatient because for the football fan, they care less about the processes and everything that a club or a coach or a player will need to go through. What they demand is the top performances and then the results. If they are not coming, then they have every cause to complain or to raise concerns. And so it was understandable from the viewpoint that the fans were coming from. But clearly, if you are to subject the matches All Blacks had played to scrutiny, they were not playing poorly. It is just that their coach hadn't really come to terms with how the Ghana Premier League is about, and then was still learning how to adjust and adapt his principles of play, his tactics and everything to a typical Ghanaian football contest. And he admitted this right after their game against Ediana. He said, yes, he understands that there are times he gets things wrong, but it is a process and he wants the club to trust in the process that is embarking on with the side. And I'm happy that they were able to win. I'm also happy for Abdulaziz. He is a former player of Real Tamale United. He trialed at Accra Essipong.
Yeah.
He was not taken. And then he's had the opportunity to play for Sweden All Blacks. He actually stayed home for a year and he's had to try out with Sweden All Blacks and it's working. It's got a beautiful goal. So I'm happy All Blacks have returned to winning ways, and hopefully it will bring back some confidence. It will buy the coach some time so that the unwanted pressure from the fans towards him. So a very good result for them, but it gets disturbing for Dreams FC, and they will need to really work out some 1 or 2 things that is wrong with the side.
Right. Let's shift focus to the game between Midyama and Bechem. And that was a game many predicted was going to go the way of Midyama because of the form they've shown this season. And again, because of the return of 2 of their best players who were on national team duty, Kelvin Nkrumah and Prince Owusu. What do you make of that opportunity missed by Midyama there to pick 3 points?
Personally, I was surprised about the performance of Bechem United, and I must say that look, for some time now, or maybe about their last 3 meetings, Bechem have struggled to handle Midyama on that side. And watching them on Saturday, I realized that Coach Emisa is doing something with the team. Unlike Coach Boche, who came and then he was asked to leave the club. You know, his first stint with Bechem United, he went to Young Apostles and he was able to score 2 goals. He struggled. and then he lost that game by 3-2. So coming back home to play Samates, he won by 2-0. So going to this game, and Tanko also getting his guys from Japan, I felt that Tanko made a mistake. I spoke to him yesterday when we met at Chips's place, and I was telling him that, look, after watching the game, I realized that Emmanuel Nkrumah and then Prince Owusu didn't add up to your game plan.
You were tired?
Yeah, they must be tired because all the way from that side, it's a bit long, it's a bit far. And then probably they arrive on Thursday, you play the game on Saturday. So I felt that they could have been on the bench and probably come on a sub in the last 20 minutes and give those players that came to win the game against 11 Wonders the opportunity. God knows Jakpasu, Nana Kofi Babel, and the likes. Give them the opportunity and you have a source of solid bench with quality. So one may not feel that, look, if I'm not there, when I'm back, I'm to play and all that. But you realize that Bicham had a game plan. Let's stay back a bit in the first 15 minutes. Let them play. Let's catch them on the counter. And then we frustrate them in midfield. So you realize that God knows Jakpasu was struggling in midfield. No wonder he was substituted later part in the second half.
Yeah.
And Frank Amankwa, who has played for 11 Wonders, Gold Stars, won the league with them, was in the middle of Bicham United. And you know what Emsa did? He put Okra and then Tompo on the bench. And on the day, their goalkeeper was fantastic. Very good goalkeeping from that young chap. And for me, I felt that it gave Midiama a lot of thinking. Tanko a lot of thinking. What do I do? Because you realize that Mahmoud Kamal Dean normally go up there, get goals for Midiama when it is tough in the game situation. But one of these runs, there was a corner kick. He had the ball all right, but the goalkeeper was able to save it, power the ball over the crossbar. So there were a lot of frustration coming in the Midiama setup. And now Nkrumah was messing up. Every chance that he gets, 1v1, it was not working for him. I mean, Prince Owusu was struggling. So he has to pull them out. But it was too late for him because the Nyakun boy that came on also couldn't even go past one. They were aggressive. So when Okra was introduced, his first touch of the ball got them a very clear opportunity, but it has to take the experience of Felicien Impose for Midiama to come and save that situation. And in the latter part of the final time of the game, that is somewhere in the 85th minute, he beat one defender with pace.
Yeah.
I told you that without the ball, Bicham will be playing less. But he with the ball, and he has to take Felicien again. He closed in, open up his body, so Okra couldn't get the ball well, but the pole has to save Midiama. And at a point after the game, we realized that Tompo came in to complement the effort of Frank Amankwa in midfield. And Okra was a threat. So the Midiama defenders were not supporting the attack as they wanted to because of the threat of Augustine Okra. For me, the game plan really worked for Bicham. And as I said, I felt that Tanko should have rested those boys on the bench, bring them on, and then let those boys who won the game against 11 Wonders here to start the game, and then probably you get your balance. So for me, Emisa and his boys did well. I wasn't surprised at the end of the day. Though before the game, I knew Midiama was going to beat them, but it didn't happen that way.
Michael, let me take you to Abraham Kessie because that's where you were over the weekend. Nations FC clearly had a job to do against Gold Stars, and it was a game that was going to feature Gold Stars former coach Frimpong Manso. At the end of the game, he managed to get the better of his former team. Take us to that game, exactly what happened, and how did Frimpong Manso cook that victory against his former side?
I think he got it right from his starting lineup. Raymond Okogripman, who has partnered Razak Simpson, was unavailable. He decided to play young centre back who has barely had minutes this season, Marco Asante-Boahin, in the game. He partnered him with Razak Simpson, and that was the beginning of a trouble that Gold Stars faced. They were not very successful in the attacking transitions. Nana Amankwa himself admitted at a point in time that they did not really play above themselves. They were very ordinary. And I think that strong base, that foundation at the back, gave Nations FC the confidence to search forward. And it looked like Faisal Chawate was possessed because I've watched him this season play for Nations FC. I actually wrote him off and started to call him a one-season wonder because last season he started with some electrifying performances. He was scoring at a point in time, was among the top 3 scorers in the league. And then in the closing stages of last season, he kind of peeled off. Nobody saw the Faisal Chawate that we saw at the season start. And so right from the start of this campaign, where it looked like he was carrying off from where he left things last season, I began to have doubts about him. But yesterday, he looked like a man possessed, as I said earlier. He was involved in the thick of affairs. It looked like he was in the right mood. And maybe, some of us said it in jest, that maybe Frimpong Manso just put everything he felt towards Gold Stars in Faisal Chawate to go and display it on the field of play. And that is exactly how things played out. But I think it was a structure that Nations FC had, and it made it difficult for Gold Stars to play their game. In the middle, for instance, Nations FC controlled everything. Bedu, the likes of Mashoud and Suhini, they were very troubling for the Gold Stars midfield. And Frimpong Manso did something that worked. I don't know, but he gave Arno some kind of a free role to operate in the game. And it gave them additional numbers in the central areas, especially in the middle. So the likes of Contour, Amon Kote, they were outnumbered in the middle. And it wasn't a game that Gold Stars really played well. And then the first goal also unsettled them. Nations FC took that lead and never looked back. I think for Gold Stars, they will look at this game as perhaps one of those bad days in the office, and they will want to go back and then right their wrongs. They did not really play to deserve anything from the encounter. And this is the best performance I've seen Nations FC play, not just under Frimpong Manso, but throughout this season. And if they are to carry on from there, I think it will be solid. So kudos to Frimpong Manso for how he structured his team, especially the base, their defense. I think it was top-notch.
Right. Coach, quick thoughts on that game. Nations FC, BPN Gold Stars.
Well, I think that Faisal Chawate was their least marksman under Mengel, and he got injured. And after returning from injury, Arno has also hit the ground running, scoring. And Arno has been the only player that scored hat-trick in the Ghana Premier League. So he was being introduced gradually until Frimpong Manso gave him that opportunity yesterday. I think that the dressing room pep talk after the Brooklyn Chelsea game also has something to do with their performance yesterday, because he really told them that, look, you guys are not serious, and he was strong on that word, that they were not serious, and if they are not ready to play, they can just move out. He was very angry with them, and for him to play his former club, I agree with my colleague that, look, he did that, and he wanted to prove to BBN Gold Stars, and he knows the team very well. Yeah. Because the Contours, who is a former player of Nations FC, went to Young Apostles. He brought him. He knows what Contour can do. Yeah. The likes of Kote, he knows them. He knows the team very well, and he knows the weaknesses of the team. So if Yamankwa should come with that kind of a setup, the game plan, even if he doesn't go according to Yamankwa's game plan, the individual attributes of the players, he knows it very well. He knows when to stop this player. He knows where to go, and he will probably get. And as you talk about Faisal Chawate, he normally runs a lot. He normally puts a lot of pressure, and he's good at it when he has the ball. And you having Arno, who is also in good form, in the same game, same situation, obviously you are going to suffer. I wasn't surprised that both goals came in the first half, but I was surprised they couldn't score again in the second half. Probably he may tell us, maybe Gold Stars decided to sit back in the second half, not to concede more goals. But I think that Frimpong Manso did very well. I mean, he has proved that given time, he will do something with Nations FC.
There was a huge Bono derby over the weekend. Adriana Stars FC took on Brooklyn Chelsea in a game that many were expecting Adriana to win. But were you surprised about the scoreline?
I wasn't surprised because Brooklyn Chelsea has been struggling away from home. They've won only 3 games at home. And Adriana is on fire. Second coming of Chuba Aristika has done something good for them. And Atapuku is also doing something. He's trying to get the supporters more vibrant with the team. You know, the days of the late Herbert Adu at Doma, it's about the fans, how they support the team, and how they put pressure on the opponent's bench when the team is playing. And for me, Brooklyn Chelsea, I don't remember the last time they went to Doma to pick even a win there. So it has always been Adriana, and this time Adriana is playing very well. Seydou Sana even didn't start this game, probably of the loss of his friends. Look at the midfield. Maxwell Atari is rich of experience in the Ghana League. I told you the last time that Dreams FC, when they were in Division 2, he played all the games for them before they came to Division 1. That was then Henry Wellington, assistant coach for Samates, who handled them. Before Sika Akuno took over in the Division 1. When they were demoted to Division 1, he still played. And before he moved to Karela United. So he has got experience. Look at the back four. I mean, Alex Boache is one of the finest centre backs with confidence. Even with his height, in the area ability, you cannot joke with it. He's very strong. Anochi Bedu, when it comes physically, very strong. So if you are not technically good, you cannot go beyond these two centre backs. And looking at their front line, Henderson and Ponsan on the left, you have the likes of Meshach Efri, a former deadly poacher of Brekum Chelsea, and Emmanuel Mafo. On any day, they will worry you if you are not able to calm yourself or probably have the pocket of spaces and pick second balls. It will be very difficult. So personally, I knew they were going to win, and I was even surprised Brekum Chelsea even had a consolation goal in that game. Congratulations, they are on top of the league, 24, and they've made their plans or this thing clear that they want to win the Ghana Premier League. And if you want to win the Ghana Premier League, you need to get some away wins and make your home a fortress. At least for now, they've got 2 away wins, 11 1-less, and then Hoho United. And then apart from Mediama that has gone to pick a point from Doma, they've won all the home games. So for me, I think that they were good to go. They were the better side, far better than Brekum Chelsea.
Michael, you look at Adriana Stars and their performances this season. They played against Mediama, they picked a draw. They played Kumasi Asante Kotoko, picked a draw there. In a derby that many expected them to face a stand test, they were able to pass that test with flying colours. What has accounted for Adriana Star's brilliant performances this season?
Well, I think various factors. Coach mentioned the impact and the influence of Atapoku. He's brought back enthusiasm and that vibe into the side. When Adriana entered the Ghana Premier League for the very first time and they won the league in their maiden season, it was about the backing of the home fans, and they made the Dorma venue a fortress. They did not lose a single game there, and then they did not concede a goal at home. So clearly it points towards that point, that picture, that whenever the fans feel good about the team, and then they rally support and there are numbers coming to cheer them during their home games, it actually helps. And this time what they are doing right is that even for the away games, they're able to organize themselves, maybe some 2-3 buses, and then they make that trip with the team. In Kumasi, they came in their numbers. Then to Ahoy, they even went that far to support the side. So clearly, the whole discussions around the club is very much positive. Two, there is money. Jigri Begala is a new mining company that has started operations within the Doma area, and they are pumping huge amounts of money into the site just to make sure that financially they don't lack. And whenever there is money in our game, trust me, it changes a lot of things for positive reasons. And that is something we are seeing around the Diana team. 3, the coaching of Sioba Aristika. Last season, he used it as an understudy to evaluate his squad. And then during the off-season, he made the right recommendations as to players they should add to this side. So the likes of Meshach Efri was drafted in from Brekum Chelsea. We can see the impact he's brought to this side. Again, one player who has actually been very impactful is, remember, Adama Boate. He joined them from Accra Lions, a very effective fullback, very offensive-minded, and very productive as well. And you can tell by his involvement in their attacking actions. He's created goals, he's created chances, and he's been a positive addition to the side. Then the consistency. Their centre-back pair has been playing together for a very consistent period. Alex Boache, right from the start of this year, January 2025, has missed only 3 Ghana Premier League matches. And those were games whether he was out through injury or suspension. He has been very consistent. And so if you judge by that experience alone, Boache consistently has played no less than 30 games and running, and there's been no breaks. His partnership with Anochi Bedu has yielded that experience between them of more than 50 games. So they understand each other, and that gives them that foundation to build on to achieve success. And in this game against Brekum Chelsea, one thing was clear. Chelsea are struggling. Forget about wins they've been able to record in their home matches in recent times because they beat Nations FC by 2-1. But they are still not finding the right formula to play exactly how Samuel would expect. And so in traveling to Doma to play Ediana, the only point Ediana had dropped at home was against Mediama SC. And Mediama are one of the top performing teams so far this season. I knew definitely Chelsea were going to be beaten, and it wasn't surprising in that manner. Very happy for Henson and Ponsa getting his first goal in the derby. And then also for the likes of Emmanuel Mafo getting in back on the scoring, has scored against Kodoko, and now he scored. That means it is very positive for his profile in terms of those who are challenging for the Ghana Premier League top scoring award. So yes, things look very positive around the Aduana Stars now. It's not Aduana FC. Things look very positive around them. And the whole direction and leadership of the club has changed. And I think that was the icebreaker. That was the deal that actually turned around the fortunes of Aduana. Last season, it was dismal. But this season, it is very exciting to watch the team play.
Right. Still talking about the Ghana Premier League, match day 11, the fallouts from that round of games.
This is our own. Let's cherish our own. Ghana Premier League is back again.
We'll be wrapping up the conversation on the Ghana Premier League in a bit, but we'll talk about Hearts of Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko because they themselves are in the news. Kotoko unbeaten in the Ghana Premier League. Hearts of Oak winless in their last 3 games, and they haven't scored a single goal in their last 3 games. Very worrying for the Phobians. But this is still the Sporty Breakfast live on Sporty 106.1 FM in Accra, 102.5 in Takoradi, and 91.3 in Kumasi. I'm joined in studio by Coach Ebenezer Sefa, and via Zoom I have Michael Asarigwedu joining me from 91.3 in Kumasi. Let's wrap up the conversation on the Ghana Premier League. Coach, let's start with Hearts of Oak. Hearts of Oak haven't scored a goal in 3 games. They haven't won in 3 games since their last defeat to Kotoko. They've played back-to-back draws, played back-to-back goalless games. What's happening to the Phobians?
It's a bit worrying, and I think that Coach Didi Damani needs to work extra. And for me, I think that if they are to rely on Frank Duku, formerly of Vision FC, and Hamza Issa, then probably they're not going to score goals to the end of the season. And it's a fact that these guys are not improving. When we watch them in the top 4, they gave some signs of being able to do something when the league kickstart. But it seems they are all struggling. And Mauli Waye will come from nowhere to probably spring a surprise 1 or 2, and that will be the end. As of Oak's strength has been the midfield when they have Opon Frane, if Abdul Karim is fit, George Paco, Raphael Amponsa. These are guys on any day, they'll give you a solid midfield whereby you think that it will be difficult for opponents to go through. But what about the wide areas? I mean, if you talk of Kakari, when he got injured and came back, he's struggling to even give Azufuk a start. Even in yesterday's game, he came from the bench, and Hussein Mohammed, who also had some knocks. And in yesterday's game, I realized that Abdul Karim is not 100% fit. Though it was an end-to-end game, I think that our young apostles played very well. And yesterday, of course, Solomon Bashi came to situations where I think he saved Azufuk. And it is something that Azufuk probably may be smiling because they've not lost in their away games. And as you said, in their last 3 games, they believe that instead of losing, if they come home by a point, I listened to Elijah Kambi when he was talking about it was a strategy. And I was asking myself, is he the head coach talking about strategy to go and put Hussein on the bench and Kakari? And when they came to change the face of the game. I think that House of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko, they need to do more. Because when you watch the smaller class, for instance, I spoke about Swedo All Blacks. What I saw them do yesterday, if they should continue to do that, it will be difficult for the Hearts and Kotoko to even go beyond them. We saw Vision and then Heart of Lions. I've said that Heart of Lions is one club that if it fails to win the league this season, I'll be surprised based on their consistency and the quality that they have in depth. Among all the clubs, I think they are the only team that have quality in depth. But within the first 11, probably you may have some quality players from other clubs that can complement or be better than even the Heart of Lions squad. But in depth, it is Heart of Lions. So for us of folk to go to that place to pick a point, fine. But I think that Apostle did very well because before the game they've lost 2 games. Their last 2 games they've lost it and they were bitter against Kotoko when Kotoko were giving that late penalty. So going into this particular game, psychologically, were they ready? But I think that has to focus. Of course, they playing away from home. If you come home with a point, it is a plus for them.
Yeah,
it's a plus for them. But for Kumasi Asante Kotoko, I think that they played better than the game that they play against Young Apostles. Kotoko were much better.
Yeah, they played Samatex.
And I'm saying that they played better performance than they gave us a good performance than what we witnessed against Young Apostles, where they struggled, especially in midfield. But in this game, for instance, I mean, Hilary Adabo was doing so well, running all the places. Peter Amudu Akwa lifted up his performance, and I said, Kampoku, it seems he's finished. For Kotoko supporters to be calling you Beye, for Kotoko supporters to be hailing you, and just some few games that you went off after the game against Bekum Chelsea, after your return, you'll be hooted at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, not any venue at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. It speaks volume. He had opportunity to come on in the second half, and he didn't add up. Probably Kotoko virtually playing 9 against 11. Morifin Donsu and Kampuku in today's Kotoko setup, Kotoko will be playing 9 against 11. So for me, I think that the work rate of Morifin Donsu is being far ahead of Kwame Puku. He doesn't add up. And as a player, he needs to sit down and ask himself a lot of questions. If he really wants to improve, or I should keep on saying that he's finished, I'll keep on saying that. But I think that Samatex also did very well. There were some decisions from the referee that were supposed to go to Kotoko. The referee didn't give. It's supposed to go to Samatex. And it is very worrying that after every weekend, we come to sit down, instead of talking about tactics, good goals, how individual players have performed, quality coming out of our league, then we end up discussing officiating. I don't know whether it's some kind of fear that every week probably the referee's manager will come out to say that this referee aired and that he has been put in the fridge. This referee didn't air and all that. No, we should be able to let our game grow. We should be able to let our game look good. Because for instance, all those that came to Legon Sports Stadium yesterday, Imota was there. Ask him, and he will tell you. Though the fans were very, very aggressive about some of the decisions of the referee, they were still supporting their team, and they were playing so well. Dreams FC officially, everybody was enjoying the game, and this is what we expect from the Ghana Premier League. Which for me, I think that this season's performance has been much better than last season. So officiating. But I think that for Kamara to save a penalty has proven that, look, it's not good, it's not bad for him, and when it comes to penalty shootouts. But sometimes the decision making is something that they need to look at. But I think they have to caution Karim Zito. He has to look at his centre back, especially Joseph Ablo. Off the ball incident is becoming too much.
Yeah.
SCB of Asofok is very aggressive, but he doesn't do that off the ball incident and be kicking. He should have been shown a record against Adriana with that off the ball incident. He keeps on doing that, and one day it might hurt Kotoko at a situation or at a point where they need him badly. So he needs to be talked to. It was a very good game, and I think that both teams went home freely. But on the day, I think that Samatex were a bit better than Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and Kotoko will smile. As at now, they are still unbeaten in the Ghana Premier League.
Yeah, and they still have a game in hand, so.
No, I mean, if
Kotoko are able to do the job over the next Holy Stars.
But yesterday, Adriana still be on top. Adriana is still 24.
It would mean that Kotoko would climb up to 23 points, same points as Adriana Stars.
Adriana is 24, right?
No, Adriana is on 23.
Adriana is on, I think they are on 24.
Okay. 24. It's 24. I think the second spot is 22.
Yes.
Yeah.
So once Kotoko still have a game in hand, and that's the good news for them. Once they win that game, they'll be closer to the title. So
20.
So
okay, Adriana is 23. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once they win, they close the gap, and then we take it from there. But is Michael still on? Okay, fine. So Michael. That was the penalty decision, right? Yeah, that was the penalty decision. Yes. And Kamara would go on to save. That. But let me bring in Michael. Michael, if you can hear me, let's finish with Kotoko and Hearts of Oak. Quick thoughts on those games. Hearts of Oak played Holy Stars, and then Kumasi Asante Kotoko played Samatex?
I think with the House of Folk bit, it is worrying that in the month of November, they've scored just 2 goals in the Ghana Premier League in 4 matches. And those were the 2 goals they scored against Baseke Holy Stars. Since then, they've not scored a Ghana Premier League goal in their last 3 games. 1-0 to Kodoko, 0-0, 0-0 in their next 2 games. Not so positive. Defensively, I think Didi has justified the fact that he's really building a solid side. And if you look through, Kodoko and House of Folk are the only teams to concede the fewest goals so far this campaign, which is 4. But has even played a game more than Asante Kodoko. So that tells you of their defensive solidity. But the issues about scoring is where the problem actually lies. And in my opinion, I think House of Folk did not do good business in terms of bringing on attackers to bolster the squad that they had. Prince Edu Kwabena clearly is not your go-to guy if you need a goal poacher in the context of the GPO. Yes, he's made a name for himself in terms of the Ghana leagues as regards scoring, but that was in the Division 1 league when he was with BBNE Gold Stars in Zone 2. But since he came to the Premier League, he's not really demonstrated that quality in terms of putting balls into the net. And for us to look at him as a marquee signing, I think it was a misplaced priority in terms of players they should have pursued and those they shouldn't. Again, for Frank Abraduku, I kept telling people when he was on a scoring spree during the GALCA Top 4 competition is that he's not really the guy to shoulder the goal-scoring burden of Accra House of Folk. And he's told so far, since the season started, just 1 goal to account for. And I think that even came from the penalty spot. The top scorers for us this season, Mawuli Wayo, 2 goals, Hamza Issa, 2 goals. Clearly, this does not signal a team that is intent on winning the Ghana Premier League. Because if you compare this to the other title chasers, Etiana has Mafo, BBNE Gold Stars has Atakumi, who do Accra House of Folk have? And that is where the issue is. To Asante Kodoko, I think Kamara again demonstrating his penalty saving exploit. It's not the first time this is happening. He did it against Accra House of Folk in the President's Cup when he saved Emmanuel Amankwa's penalty. In South Africa, I was there with the team. He saved a horde of Kaiser Chiefs penalties to an extent that even the Kaiser Chiefs fans had given up. Then in the Ghana Premier League, he's done it against Samatex. Clearly, it's showing that if he was Ghanaian, then I think that Mohamed Kamara would have given Benjamin Asare a run for his money. Maybe he would have been the Black Stars' number 1 if Kamara was Ghanaian. Because I think, but for some 1 or 2 lapses in terms of his own concentration through games, Kamara is a top goalkeeper. And I say again, if he was a Ghanaian, he would have been the Black Stars' number 1. But I am a bit troubled with Asante Kodoko's defending. I think they are too physical for my liking and very aggressive. And I don't understand the whole halabala around why the penalty was given against them. Clearly, if you see the footages, the referee was not even bold to award more penalties against Kotoko. And I don't know what is wrong with our GPL referees. They seem to be a bit anxious in giving multiple penalties against teams. They need to be bold about this. And I don't know if it is not part of their training, but if psychology, training the mind to be ready for encounters, if it is not part of how we train referees in the country, I think we should prioritize it, because it looks like the referees are now officiating games under pressure. There is a lot of talk about them, and they keep making these mistakes. I don't want to believe all these mistakes are deliberate, because the referees have taken money and then they want to influence the game towards a certain side as against the other. I think most of these decisions that do not go right, because yesterday in the game that Samatex played against Asante Kodoko, even the Samatex coach at a point in time was agitated by the touchline. Christopher Enin, the Kodoko bench, the same. So it means decisions that the referee took on the field of play together with his assistants were not the best for Kotoko. They were denied a penalty. That back tackle behind, like you tackle a man from behind. Although he got the ball, it was a risky and unnecessary challenge. And that should have been a penalty against Samatex. Again, in that same game, Fly was just showing the video. There were several instances or incidents that should have led to a penalty against Asante Kodoko. So our referees need to be bold, and then they need to take such decisions to help our game to grow. Kwame Poku, I don't know why he arrogated to himself a prima donna status. And I think he was being shelved or protected to an extent, quote unquote, by the presence of Albert Amwa. Because at the end of the day, Albert Amwa will do a lot of the work. He will create for Kwame Poku to score, or he will score himself. So Kwame Poku's poor performances went under the radar. Albert Amwa's own top performances and goals papered over the cracks around Kwame Poku's game. And then his contribution on the ball is not up there. And his contribution of the ball signals a player who thinks he's there, but he's not really there. That's why I use the word arrogated. How did he get that status as a prima donna in the Asante Kotoko team that he will not work for the team when they are not in possession? I understand the issues around him. He's not in top conditions. He just returned from injury and he's been rushed into play. Those are understandable. But I am speaking clearly to a thread of incidents that has clearly showed Kwame Poku's no passion or no zeal to compete for the ball for Asante Kotoko when they are not in possession. And I think it is that bad. Maybe the signs are clear that they need to part company with him. But it is a positive result for Kotoko, getting a draw away from home, considering the circumstances, still unbeaten in the Ghana Premier League. I only wish them well, but I think their defending can improve. They need to be less physical and more scientific in the approach to win balls from the opponent.
Right. And the Ghana Premier League as it stands after 11 matches, this is what the table looks like. Aduana FC are first on 23 points. Pando Heart of Lions are second on 22 points. Mijema SC are third, 22 points. Kumasi Asante Kotoko are fourth. They have 20 points. They have a game in hand. They've played 10 games. And you have BBN Gold Stars in fifth. After 11 games, they have 19 points. Accra Hearts of Folk, they are currently 11th on 18 points. Samatex 1996, they have 17 points. They are 7th. Kerala United are 8th on 16 points. Young Apostles are 9th on 15 points. Vision FC are 10th, 14 points. Nations FC, they have 13 points and they are currently 11th. In 12th place, you have Swedro Blacks. They have 11 points. Dreams FC, they are 13th on 11 points. Brecum Chelsea are 14th on 11 points. Hoho United are 15th on 11 points. And then you have the relegation stragglers. 16th place, you have Bechem United on 10 points. Basake Holy Stars, they have 6 points. They are currently 17th. They have a game in hand. So they have an outstanding game against Kumasi Asante Kotoko. And in 18th place, you have 11 Wonders who have picked up only 3 points from 11 games. And so later on in the week, Holy Stars would welcome Kumasi Asante Kotoko to their home ground for that outstanding game. I am told the game will be held at the Cosby War Memorial Park in Idinase. That's where that game will be played. So look out for that outstanding game in the Ghana Premier League. Yes, on Wednesday. So that's yes, big game for Kotoko next weekend. So we'll see how the Ghana Premier League goes in the coming days.
I just want to mention some plaudits for some excellent displays we saw. That brilliant hit from Abdulaziz.
Yeah,
that goal was brilliant from the All Blacks player.
All Blacks, about 25 years.
Yes, and I think that was a very good hit. And Salim Adams had a very wonderful game for Mediema. On Saturday it was good, but to goalkeeper Esiedu Benjamin, he was awesome. At the end of the game, Mediema's coaches had to just get to him, talk to him, and even congratulate him for his exploits. Steven Gura, Tanko, and then the goalkeeper's trainer or goalkeeper's coach himself, Isaac Amwakon. The goalkeeper virtually stood between the two. And I think that Emisa, he had always not wanted to come into the Premier League. Anytime he qualifies, he decides to stay away from the Premier League. But what he's doing with Bechem, there is this level of command of the team, telling the players who think that they are up there that you are not up there. I'll play with players who are willing to give me the result. And I think it was quite an excellent game. Unfortunately wanted to create another magical moment, winning the game in the final minute. But credit to goalkeeper Felix Shea. Many did not see that the goalkeeper had a tip off his stretched foot, because it would have been, the ultimate goal to have grabbed, some crucial 3 points for that is Bechem United. So the league is getting interesting for all the clubs who think that, yes, they will continue to draw matches and then they'll win the league. They should think about it, because others are winning. Ediana is winning games, home and away. They are scoring, they are tormenting other clubs. So if you drop points consistently, drop points home and away, there is no way you can win the league with that. So let's wait and see. 11 games into the season, more games to be played. We have a little over 23 games to be played. So yes, it's a long way to go, but it's already shaping up. If you lose and you consistently lose, relegation would catch you. 11 wonders, yes. I've seen their management members and some other people writing, on social media, but they should take their game seriously and start winning. What they did with Legon Cities, they cannot do the same with 11 wonders. But it looks like it's the same thing they are doing. I don't know whether it's just about getting the clubs and then registering themselves in the Premier League and playing. That is the fun of it. But I think it goes beyond that. That is why there are times when we say that the FA should look at the clubs, serious clubs. Even if we are playing with 12 clubs, let's play with 12 clubs who are serious.
That's it.
And then we would get the results from it, instead of playing with teams who are not willing to play. They come and play like our community football gala that we organize and go and play Christmas match days after match days. Nothing is respected again. It doesn't work. This is Premier League football,
right? And that was our wrap on the Ghana Premier League. Let me say a big thank you to you, Coach Ebenezer Sifa, for joining us on the show this morning. It's been a pleasure having you. Hopefully on Friday we'll be back to preview the Ghana Premier League match day 12 fixtures. Let's quickly go to Europe and check out what's happening there in the next 20 minutes. And let me start off with the English Premier League. But let me remind you that at 10 o'clock, at 10:05, Yvonne will bring you Total English Football. So they'll go deeper into the conversation on the English Premier League. But let me pick the thoughts of Michael and Kelvin on two quick issues: Arsenal's form this season and Liverpool's capitulation this season. And Kelvin, since you are with me, let me start with you. I mean, what's gone wrong for Liverpool this season? It looks like they just can't seem to get back to the season where they were very consistent. That consistency is not there anymore. Coach seems to be complaining a bit too much. The players almost look like they're crestfallen. I mean, what's really going on with Liverpool?
Well, I think it's clear. Everyone should know this. It's all about the structure and what existed before Slot took over. Jurgen Klopp had a team that he had built over years. They had a way of playing, and for any manager to change that, it won't take just a season to clear off that. How many years did Klopp spend? This is close to 10 years, 8 seasons. And it's going to be difficult for any manager to change, the way the players think, the way they play in just a season. So if you look critically at the Liverpool team that played last season, it was more like the same system that Klopp used, with only one, change, or he even existed during Klopp's time, but unfortunately due to injuries and inconsistencies, that is Gravenberch in that midfield. Yeah. And Liverpool went on to win the league. Now, after that, they lost players. They decided to bring in players. And that was when Arne Slot had to tweak and use his own methods in trying to build this Liverpool team. But that is not working for him. He's just been identified that his own ways of trying to build a team and put together a solid team to perform is not working for him. The purchases for me were not right. Liverpool needed an additional centre-back, one who was going to put Konate on his toes, that, gentlemen, if you are not willing to sign, if you are not willing to up your performances, you are staying on the bench. But ask yourself, Liverpool don't have that player.
And put VVD on the toes as well.
Exactly. Even if VVD is not going to be on his toes, he had no team aiming for him, so there was no way he was going to flaunt. And you can clearly see that, yes, he's the captain of the team, so he owes a responsibility to perform. But for Konate, he doesn't care. He's French. He's looking at Real Madrid. He's probably looking at Paris Saint-Germain. So bring a defender who can battle him. Not the likes of Joe Gomez and the likes. Those players cannot battle him. And for, I think, one player who could have actually stayed in that system and given him a run, Jaro Kwanzaa, who was young and upcoming. They decided to let him go to Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah.
Now you lose a player like Trent Alexander-Arnold, who was more like, the first midfielder for Liverpool in their build-ups last season. If you sell him and you are bringing in a right back to come and play in his position, and you bring Jeremy Frimpong, he's not your ideal right, probably a right wing back, or you put him on the right-hand side of attack. Ask yourself, the exploits of Jeremy Frimpong was not seen at Bayer Leverkusen as a right back. It was seen as a right winger or a right wing, back. Or there are times he played as a decoy forward for Xabi Alonso's team, because he realized the guy defensively is a liability. Now, get into that midfield. The Liverpool need Florian Wirtz in that midfield.
Not at all.
So he seemed to have brought in the players, his own players, and he wanted to play, or mold the team around them. But it's not clicking. It's not working for the style and the profile of players Liverpool have. I don't see any manager in the world who had a perfect midfield last season. Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, McAllister. And then he comes into a new season after winning and performing well in the Champions League until PSG got them out, to start playing with different, all because he wants to accommodate Florian Wirtz. In attack, I always say Liverpool's greatest, weapon has always been Mohamed Salah.
Yeah.
And if you want a player who can play and let Salah be effective, you don't bring a player who is also eyeing for goals. Ishak, Roberto Firmino was not interested in goals. Jota got his goals all right, but if you look at him, he was not interested in that. Yeah. Liverpool were always dependent on Salah as the outlet. So when they have those loose ends, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Jota, there are times Darwin Nunez, Luis Diaz gets in. And now for losing Luis Diaz too, which player did they bring to just replace him? Yeah. So you see, there was so many things that Liverpool got wrong before the season began, and I think that it's all because Arne Slot decided to forgo what Jurgen Klopp had built and realized that it was, that formation, that philosophy that actually got the team clicking. So all blame should be on Arne Slot, and I think he's even been accepting it and appreciating it after every single game that it's his fault. Liverpool would struggle. It would take some time for them to come, but that can only happen when they find the right tonic for Alexander Isak to start scoring like he was doing at Newcastle United. Until then, they are going to struggle because now the team shape doesn't favor Mohamed Salah. And it's more geared towards favoring the attackers. Ekitike is not even they are not even realizing that Ekitike should be their reliable weapon now instead of Ishak. That gentleman is young.
He seems more
exactly.
Yeah.
And he understands the Liverpool system better than Ishak is doing. So Arne Slot is the one to blame for Liverpool's woes.
Let me take listeners through round 12 and the results as they came. Arsenal defeated Tottenham 4-1. Leeds United scored first but lost to Aston Villa. And then you have Newcastle also beating Manchester City by 2-1. Bournemouth and West Ham played out a 2-2 draw. And in that game, Ghana midfielder Semenyo was not in the squad. Brighton defeated Brentford by 2-1. Brentford took the lead. Brighton came back into the game and got 2 good goals. Fulham defeated Sunderland by 1-0. Nottingham Forest, they went to Anfield and beat Liverpool by 3-0. Crystal Palace also defeated Wolves at home. So Wolves were at home and they got beaten by Crystal Palace. Burnley at Turf Moor also lost 2-0 to Chelsea. And later today, Manchester United will play Everton at 8 p.m. That's the Monday night game that English Premier League fans should look forward to. But there's Total English Football at 10:05. They will delve deep into the English Premier League and tell us everything, ran the rule over everything that happened in the English Premier League over the weekend. But let me bring in Michael. Michael, I'll take you to Arsenal. I'll take you to the camp of Arsenal because Arsenal look like they seem to be doing all the right things. You look at their position on the league log, they have picked as many as 29 points. They've scored 24, conceded 6 over the weekend. They did what they normally do over their rivals, Tottenham Hotspur, beating them again in the North London derby. What do you make of Arsenal's performance this season? And do they, after opening a 6-point lead over closest challengers Chelsea, do they look like that team that can finally lay their hands on that Premier League title, that elusive Premier League title?
Yep, I think they are by far the most complete team in the Premier League as things stand. Man City are still finding their feet, and it looks like if Erling Haaland does not show up, City are mostly in trouble. For Liverpool, they are the direct opposite of Arsenal. Arsenal went into the market to recruit players, and it looked like Arteta had a plan for the players he brought on board to bolster his squad. For Liverpool, it looks like Slot does not even have a plan on how to play all his signings together. And clearly, that is the difference. So Liverpool are not in good places. For Chelsea, they are still inexperienced, although they have the squad depth to compete. But their inexperience will definitely be the undoing. And it's only a matter of time where results like Brighton, Sunderland rears its head again and then affect the Chelsea team. So Arsenal look like the most complete team, the most consistent team in the Premier League as things stand. And I think, on the evidence of what has played out so far this season, at this early stage, I think they are the team to beat or the team to catch in terms of a Premier League title race. And they deserve whatever good things they are doing. Arteta has not just built a solid defensive unit, but now they are also exciting. And I think the addition of Eberechi has made sure that their attack is lively and exciting to watch. He's the ultimate playmaker Arsenal were missing most times when they were without Martin Odegaard. And the good thing is that Eze and then Odegaard can play together when the Norwegian returns into the side. And even without Victor Gyökeres, Arteta stuck to his old template by putting Mikel Merino in there as a makeshift number 9. So I think, yes, Arteta knows his squad, not just his team. He knows his squad and knows how to use them to get the results. And it is working well for him so far. I only hope and pray they'll be able to sustain it. And then judging by the situations in the other teams, they will build on this, establish a healthy gap. And by the time that the other teams recover, it will be difficult to catch. But yes, Arsenal are the real deal. And this year could be their year.
Wow, Arsenal looking good as the season progresses. They look very, very, very assured, and we'll be hoping to see them possibly see out the season with the same level of performance we are seeing them put out these days. So we'll see how things pan out. But there's a lot to talk about on Total English Football at 10:05. So just tune in at 10 and join Yvonne and her team as they bring you Total English Football at 10:05. But let's quickly get to the La Liga, the Spanish La Liga, because round 13 saw Elche draw 2-2 with Real Madrid. Atletico Madrid also defeated Getafe late. That goal came late. It was 1-0 in favor of Atletico Madrid. Betis and Girona played out a 1-1 draw. Oviedo and Rayo Vallecano played out a 0-0 draw. And then Villarreal defeated Mallorca by 2-1. Osasuna were defeated at home by Real Sociedad. 3-1 that game ended. Barcelona returned to their home ground in Camp Nou. They won against Athletic Bilbao by 4-0. Alaves were at home, but were beaten by Celta Vigo by 1-0. And Valencia, they beat Levante by 1-0. But Michael, let's talk about Real Madrid and their struggles. Twice they came late. Twice they came from behind to actually pick a draw late on in that game against Elche. They've seen their lead at the summit of the Spanish La Liga table cut to just 1 point between themselves and Barcelona. What hasn't worked for Real Madrid this season? They don't seem to have that fear factor. They don't seem to have that, about their play. What's really gone wrong for Madrid this season? Or yesterday's game was just a minor blip. If I can describe it as that.
It is just me questioning the wisdom of Alonso in trying to tame a wild animal. It looks practically impossible. You can't get Real Madrid to play like Bayer Leverkusen or Barcelona. They are Real Madrid because they're a team that heavily relies on the superstars to weave their magic at points in time. So Madrid has not necessarily been a passing-oriented side, a pass-dominant team playing with a certain philosophy or ideology like the Barcelonas do, and we see all of the time. Alonso can thrive with this at Bayer Leverkusen because basically they are a club without history or prestige. They have not won anything before until Alonso came, and then they were struggling. So it's easy for players to buy into it, but it is difficult for Alonso to walk into this Real Madrid dressing room and tell these players that what you were doing in times past was not the best, especially when it had won them the league and then the Champions League. They did a double the last 2 seasons. These players have been winning games, they've been winning championship. So you just walk into the dressing room and tell them that all the habits, everything that they were doing previously was not the best. So you want to discard it, and then you want to forcefully implement your own ideology and then your own way of things, how players should conduct themselves. It is not going to work. And I only knew that they needed a streak of unconvincing results and performances for issues to start coming up. In the dressing room, I don't think every player is entirely happy. And Alonso is struggling to keep the key figures level-headed to buy into what he's doing. Bar Kylian Mbappe, I don't think the rest of the players really are in sync with what Alonso expects to do with this side. And that is where the ultimate problem is. And it will get to the time where these players will, quote-unquote, sabotage Alonso to some extent. He's a young manager, and he should have played to understand, because I don't think Ancelotti was foolish enough, excuse my words, but I don't think Ancelotti was foolish enough to allow these players some leeway to be a bit adventurous on the field of play.
Right.
Another thing that helped Ancelotti was the dressing room presence of experienced players like Modric, like Cruz. So when players were going off track, they were there to whip them back in line, speak some sense into them. Alonso's dressing room now has no such leadership, bar maybe Dani Carvajal, but you can't compare him to the likes of Cruz and Modric in terms of what they bring to bear in terms of leadership. So he doesn't have that leadership to even support or back him if the other players are kind of meeting us against his ways of doing stuff. And that is the problem they face. But that aside, I think the result against Elche was even something that flattered Madrid. They deserve to lose that game. The 2 goals they scored were poor refereeing decisions. And on the day when Florentino Perez mounted the platform to address the Madrid faithfuls and then, quote-unquote, portray Barcelona and then the Spanish refereeing system as corrupt, and Madrid benefited from 2 refereeing decisions in that manner, it makes it all kind of absurd and then a bit ridiculous. But all the same, I don't think Madrid are playing their best football yet. Players who started the season and were on form have failed off. Arda Güler, after Bellingham returned, his input in terms of goal involvement has shrunk, and there are problems in the dressing room, which perhaps O'Reilly said, if these performances continue. But I don't think they are playing their best brand of football yet.
Right. Let's look at Barcelona as well. They were able to do a job on Athletic Bilbao, and as we speak, they are just 1 point behind Real Madrid. They have most of their players back from injury. What does that victory back at their favorite home ground tell us about the team? And could they push Madrid all the way in terms of the title challenge? Could they push them to the wire?
I think Juan Garcia's return is very, very positive for Barcelona. I am in no doubt questioning the abilities of Roger Szczesny, but with how Hansi Flick expects this Barcelona team to play, you need a goalkeeper who is more accustomed to doing sweeping duties and also very good with the ball at his feet. And I think Juan Garcia serves that profile very, very well. And so his return is positive for Barca. And I'm not surprised that they kept a clean sheet against Bilbao. Yeah, Bilbao has some decent chances. Nico Williams, getting opportunities to score. But then again, it was about the organization and then the overall goalkeeping of Juan Garcia that helped. Then the other players also returning to the fray. Dani Olmo being fit, Lewandowski being fully fit and ready to go. And then the most important factor, returning to the Camp Nou. The Camp Nou had become a spiritual home for Barcelona and had that special thing that it will be able to bring something out of these players, a performance, because they hadn't played there since May 2023. It was a long time. So with them returning to the venue, it had something symbolic around it. And definitely, players knew what the occasion was and what it demanded. And they knew that they had to step up right from the onset. So it was not surprising Barca scored an early goal in the first 5 minutes of the game from Robert Lewandowski. And from there, they never looked back. And I think the break that Lamine Yamal had, not joining the Spanish national side and getting enough time to rest, train, also helped him because he looked a different player in this game against Bilbao. It was a well-deserved result, a top performance from the Barcelona side. But again, Bilbao are not really playing very well this season. If you check them in the Champions League and then in the La Liga, they are a bit here and there. They blow hot today, and the next they blow cold. So they are not consistent. And getting that result against Barcelona was expected. But Barca did well, and they need to improve on that. They have crucial games coming up, especially that game against Chelsea.
Right. Michael, let's finish off in Italy. There were some interesting games yesterday. We saw Udinese lose at home to Bologna 3-0. Cagliari played 3-3 with Genoa. Fiorentina and Juventus played out a 1-1 draw. Napoli returned to winning ways. They beat Atalanta by 3-1. Verona lost at home to Parma 2-1. AS Roma, they are the league leaders. They beat Cremonese by 3-1 away from home. Lazio defeated Lecce by 2-0. And yesterday, the big one, the Derby de Madonnina, Magno saved Çalhanoglu's penalty, but Pulisic was the man who ensured that AC Milan picked all 3 points in that one. Michael, 3 minutes, let's do this. Take us to that game, and how come AC Milan managed to get that crucial victory over Inter Milan?
Inter are still trying to find themselves in games against Milan. If you check in the last derbies, Milan has dominated, and they seem to have an extra motivation in facing Inter Milan in recent times. And then again, you look at the managers in the dugout. Christian Kivu was just experiencing his first Derby della Madonnina as a coach of Inter Milan. Allegri has played this game several times, and he knows what to do to win games like this. At a point in time, AC Milan were literally sitting at the back, defending, even when they hadn't scored the first goal. But I think what really worked for them was the return of Adrien Rabiot. He was a difference maker. Milan has struggled in his absence. He complements the midfield selection that Allegri has. Samuel Ricci, brilliant young talent, but I don't think he's able to play with that level of performance and experience from someone like Rabiot. And Rabiot and Fofana understand each other very well and are able to provide that kind of cushioning for someone like Luka Modric to operate from deep. And it really brings to bear the qualities in the Milan setup. Wing backs, Alexis Saelemaekers is a difference maker, but I think the ultimate difference maker is Christian Pulisic, and he's profiting well enough from how Allegri sets his team up to play. The 3-5-2 is actually helping Pulisic. And if you check, since he joined the league, he has the same goal involvements like Lautaro Martinez, 48-48. It is to tell you his impact. The only thing is that he came at a time where Milan were dropping and were not in a position to challenge for the Scudetto. But in terms of impact individually, he measures up to the best in the league, the standard in the league, in players like Lautaro Martinez. And this is a game where he clearly showed that. And you could tell by his goal celebration that he's been yearning for that recognition that he also is on top of his game. And scoring in the derby will put his name up there. For Kivu and Inter Milan is the same player, same formation, but different principles of play. And there is a pattern to how they play that makes them look vulnerable defensively. And their midfield is no longer that dominant as compared to the past 3 seasons, as we've seen from them. Mkhitaryan is no longer playing. It's now Susic, Barella, and Çalhanoglu. But I think it was very painful that Inter had to lose this way. They created very good chances. They were thwarted by the efforts of Mike Maignan, and then eventually he saved that penalty from Chahanoglu. So, yes, Milan did what they needed to do to get the win, but I also think luck was not on the side of Inter Milan, because if it was, at least they would have been able to salvage a point.
Right. Michael, I'm sure we would have more conversations on the Italian Serie A in the coming days, because we would also have to talk about AS Roma and Gasperini and what he's been doing so far. They are currently top of the table. Michael, a big thank you to you for joining us on the show this morning. Hopefully we'll be back again tomorrow to continue our discussion on some of the games we watched over the weekend. And this has been another interesting edition of Ghana's #1 sports morning show, Sporty Breakfast. I would say a big thank you to the entire production team: Yusuf, Desaja, Isa, Immortal Jakwe Champon, Fidelis Entry J, Angela Mensa, Abigail, Sedna.